You know, growing up, I never thought that my parents' toxic relationship would have an effect on my relationships in the future. And unfortunately, for me, that is true. You know, it's your boy Andre here. And my whole thing is surviving love, being able to, rebound once you get out of a situation that wasn't favorable for you. We all still got to go on. We got to move on, yo. Life goes on. For some of us, there might be kids in the situation and other people that are dependent on you. So you don't get to say, well, because of my situation, I give up. You know what I mean? You don't get to do that. And in some of our parents, toxic relationships, those were the games that they were playing. Not being mindful of the children that are in the situation with them as well. You the kid in the back seat, either in the car seat or, got the seat belt on and you just riding, you just doing what you gotta do to get by, but you love your parents, You don't see what's really going on. You don't really know the underlying and the tension that's in the air. You don't know. They hide that from you. They shield that from you. For the most part, they do. But when it spills over, when things get toxic, yo, oh yeah, it goes bad, and it goes bad really fast to where before you know it, you're with one parent and you don't get to see the other parent. And there's no explanation to you. Nobody tells you nothing. You just wake up the next day and one of your parents are gone. For whatever reason it may be, we know the toxic levels in that situation were very high and they finally took its course. And what we have here is, the remnants, the victims of toxic relationships and sometimes of our own blood, our parents, our folks. So when I asked that question on the last video, I asked it because I have experienced that myself, with my father leaving the home and being told that he no longer has children in his life. It kind of shaped me and my decision making, as I became a man, as I got into a relationship of my own or relationships of my own. It affects us in a way to where some of us become bad decision making because of this. Maybe because we weren't as stronger as the children who have both parents in the home and there's a functional system and there's no toxic levels anywhere. And those children turn out a little bit different. Let's be honest, some of them don't, but a lot of them do. I'm sure there's a study out there. If you like to look up the study and then come back and tell me I was wrong, I'll take that from you. But for me, it's more common that the children with one parent in the household suffers a little bit or is at a disadvantage, and especially in decision making skills, having the ability to use the tools or your awareness to make the decisions that's in your best interest. A lot of us need that guidance from our parents, when it comes to picking schools and what do you want to go to school for? Will it equate to you making money or having a lifelong career? These are the type of things that you get from your parents and enables you to be a successful, individual citizen, and maybe even a parent and a husband or wife of your own, you know what I'm saying? But those tools are something that needs to be nurtured and consistently taught and shown how to properly, apply the things that you learn to what it is that you're trying to achieve, whether it be goals or your goals is, a marriage, a successful marriage. This is what happens This is where the children suffer during a toxic relationship, our parents' toxic relationship. So now they've gone through what they've gone through, and say it's not a split. Say they stay together, and all day they're at each other's throat for the littlest thing. There's nothing really going on, and they're not talking to each other. Some situations it can get violent, it can get very abusive, not just physically abusive, but mentally and verbally abusive as well. And as the child, you're witnessing these things, you're going through it. As they tell you to go to your room, you still hear things going on in the wall, through the walls, or just sometimes it ends in violence or someone's being removed from the home. Whatever the case may be, whatever the toxic levels were in your parents' situation is now affecting you, right? So, how does it affect your relationship, though? Well, here we go with the decision making skills. Now, when they stay together, right, and they're going through this, sometimes in amidst that toxic behavior that's going on and you're witnessing as a child, there's good points sometimes. Sometimes it's like, these are the parents I picked when I was born. These are the ones I told God to give me. These are the perfect parents. But it's only for that brief time. And maybe your father's getting his father on and your mother's doing her mothering. But at that point, that's what you love. That's what you seek. That's what you crave. That's what you want. That's what you long for. That's what you ask God for. And you're seeing just a glimpse of it, right? Just a glimpse of it. But you only get a small sample size of it. And then right away, just like that, it's gone. Right? Does that sound familiar, y'all? Does that sound like some of the relationships that we find ourselves in? Just think about it. When you allow people to go in and out of your life, even though you know they're doing wrong, and you still accept them in your life after they've clearly done you wrong. Like in the last video, if you didn't watch the video, it's the one that says, will your parents' toxic relationship affect your relationship? Check that video out. But in that video, we hear a woman say that she had a baby with a man who put hands on her while she was pregnant. They broke up, and he cleaned himself up and promised to get good, and she accepted him back and had another baby for him not only to put his hands on her again. You see where I'm going with this? I'm not bashing nobody in this situation. I'm saying the things that our parents do affect us. And again, the young lady in that video that I just told you to go watch, she explained her situation with her folks. So the proof's in the pudding. Will your parents' toxic relationship affect your relationship down the line? It's your boy Andre, full of love. Please hit that like button, share it, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Be on the lookout for my new content coming up. Phone Chronicles, Survive in Love. You know how we do. Let's go. I'm out. Never have I drove a Hellcat or a Maserati. Never needed others from